It's time now for Panther Basketball Coach's Corner with your host, Vince Allo. And we're here on the very first installment of Coach's Corner with Palm Beach State College men's basketball coach, Tade Norwood. Coach, happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you, brother.
So we're going to talk about a lot of things here today as we recap the 23 portion of the 23-24 campaign and then look ahead to what's coming up in the second half of the season. But looking back at it right now, currently you stand at 8-6 overall and some rankings to speak of as well, correct?
Yeah, just recently we entered the Massey ratings as the 14th ranked team, Division II team in the country. So super proud of that for the program, for our guys, for the institution.
And 8-6 overall. I mean, you had a great winning streak going, but a lot of those matchups in the first half of the season were against, most of them were against the D1 size schools in the junior college rankings. So what you guys were able to do competing against those larger schools was very impressive. And I know you avenged a couple of losses that you suffered earlier in the season. And one of the things I noticed from where I sit to do the games on YouTube is this team, under your guidance in your first year with the school, refuses to give up. Regardless of the deficit you face in the latter portions of the game, you always seem to find a way to dig in and get the right combination on the floor down the stretch to keep you guys hanging around and right up to the last whistle.
Oh yeah, man. We've scheduled up this year, not just some of our games, but all our games were against the NJCA Division I opponents, and we were fortunate to win 8 of those games thus far before Christmas. I think last year, the previous regime, they won 2 of those games, Division I games. So we got another one on our schedule as we open up our tournament next weekend. We got 2 more Division I games in our tournament before we get into conference play. So excited where we at right now with this team and this group of young men. And you're right, just resilient in their approach, resilient in their preparation. And I tell those guys all the time that preparation and execution win ball games. So they're always prepared. Sometimes I like to execute a little bit better than we do, but thus far we've done a really good job of winning some big games. You know, we had Indian River beat I think the 17th ranked team in the country, Division I, on our home floor. You know, I wish I could have 1 or 2 of those possessions back.
Right.
Eastern Florida here, who I think is 18th in the country in the Division I rankings. We had them, you know, tied with probably 3.5 to go in that game, and we love to get those back. But it's a learning experience for us, and a lot of these games and playing these opponents early in the year is to get us prepared for conference tournament and prepared for the national tournament.
Absolutely. And I think I said this to you after one of those tight losses on your home floor was this showed that you guys can play with anybody. And it showed that resilient nature that you've instilled in these kids as they take the floor. And I've noticed it from, again, having an opportunity to cover the team for the first half of the season, the 23 portion of the season, is not only do you get great play out of the starting lineup, and, you know, it's very well balanced, and you're a very tough ball club to match up with because of the versatility that you have in your starting 5. But you also go to the bench, most notably the first 3 off the bench that come in and really, really take the complexion of the team to a different it's a different look altogether. But so I think key for basketball is obviously having chemistry amongst your starters, but also having a solid bench to go to as well. And that's something that is going to carry you into the second half of the season, correct?
Yes, definitely. You know, because of the way we play philosophically, we like to really control tempo with pressure in the basketball in the full court with our full court man-to-man press, and then in the half court really settling back in our gap defense. So in order to play like that and play with those intangibles, you got to have depth on your team. And I think one of the strengths of our program is the depth that we have. You know, I think you alluded to when we bring in those guys that come off the bench. Not only do they do a good job, but they give us a different dynamic and a different look and that second unit does a really good job of shooting the basketball. So we really lean on those guys for scoring, especially at the 12 and 11-minute mark in the first half. So they've done a good job of answering the question and competing and giving great effort. And I tell those guys I could live with all the results if we play hard and play intelligently.
And that seems to be, the makeup of your basketball team is they play extremely hard from beginning to end. And, like I've said, you find yourself in the middle stages of the second half getting down by double digits. Take a timeout. You come out of the timeout and your team responds with a 10-0 run to climb right back into the ball game. And it's just a never give up attitude that you see from your roster game in and game out. So I know that in college basketball, as we get to this portion of the season, the midway point, and you look forward to the second half of the season, ineligibility is something that always seems to rear its ugly head as you flip the calendar. Not the issue with your ball club. And, congratulations to the job that you and your staff has done with your ball club. And I know that you were very proud of the team GPA that you were posting about and talking about. Tell us a little bit more about that and how maybe some of your ball players feel about getting that recognition as well.
A lot of the credit goes to the student athletes and to my staff. They did an amazing job in the classroom. We had a 3.2 team GPA. I tell those guys, you got to earn the right to have success, and they do an unbelievable job in study hall. They do an unbelievable job when we go on the road, bringing their books and really getting that aspect of the academics done throughout their free time, and it showed in the classroom this semester. So very proud of the men in the program, and very proud of our staff. We do some mentorship with these guys, just really trying to dig in deep of who they are, and I think a lot of that carried over into the academic aspect as well. So, like you said, I couldn't be more proud. I'm proud because it's tough. If you look at the overall GPA in college basketball, from the men's side, I can bet the check that is not a 3.2. So those are great ambassadors of the program, and we talk about that all the time. If we just teaching them how to play basketball, we failing them. The job of my staff and I is to really get these young men prepared after for after college,
right?
So that when they leave here, leave our program and they enroll in 4-year institutions, they're prepared. They're prepared for the gauntlet that awaits them, and at a 4-year institution, and for the gauntlet that awaits them in the real world. So it's not just just that we don't just focus on just that part of it. We try to really look at the totality of the student athlete and help those guys grow and maturate.
Yeah, and you touched on it, Coach, where you embody that student athlete. It's not just the athlete; it's the student athlete. And congratulations to you and all the members of the program for doing a great job of hitting the books and making sure that everyone's able to take the floor when you do in a couple of days. I know you returned to practice today, being the 27th, and were you in touch with any of the ball players over the break, or what's their mindset and what do you expect out of them when they take the floor for the first practice coming back after the break?
Real quick to touch back on that GPA thing. This is probably the first time in my 22 years that we had 12 of 15 guys have a 3.0 or higher as a GPA, which is amazing because I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm not sure we've ever had a group of young men do that. But to answer your question, I was actually in contact with every single one of our student athletes, and we got some local guys here that live within close proximity of the institution. So we've had 6 different guys in the gym over the break, just putting in work, as they call it, getting shots up, going through their progressions, getting some cardio done, and then we had some young men back home that videotaped some of the workouts and exercises they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that these first 1 or 2 games after the break is one in the preparation, and it's not one on game day. It's one the last day before Christmas break up until the first day of practice, or the first day before you play a game, because the team that comes in the best shape and the most prepared is usually the one that win those early games. So I'm confident that the men in the program have done what they need to do, because they know I call BS on some of it sometimes, and so they it's like, I always tell these guys, men lie and women lie, but my two eyeballs will never lie to me. So they got to the point now where they'll videotape or video record their workouts, or take pictures and stuff so they can show that they're getting some stuff done. And then we had some individual workouts. My staff and I had some individual workouts with guys that live in the area. So I'm excited about what the second semester holds for us.
Yeah, and something, we go back to your playing days at Green Mountain College in Vermont under Coach Matt Dempsey. You'd never get away with trying to throw one by him, and I think you've taken some of that, what you learned as a player in college, into what you're carrying over as a coach too. So it's a good learning experience for you, and to have you be able to pass that on to your squad as they gear up for the second half of the season. Let's talk about the January portion. As you said, it's vital to get off to a good start. And looking at the schedule, you start with, let's see, at Polk State College on a week from today, actually, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got a tournament here with Roxbury Community College out of the Boston area. I'm looking forward to seeing them as I moved down from Boston into this area back in August. So what goes into preparing the team after a pretty successful first half of the season? From your standpoint, how do you get these guys focused on what's coming up and getting off to that good start in January?
It's all about going through your progressions. We talk about it all the time in our preparation and how we prepare. We don't look at one game more important than other. We constantly go through a systematic routine on how we prepare and how we get ready to play. And I think we'll piggyback on that approach. But the real beauty, of it is we just got quality men in the program. We got great character guys. We got guys that are asked to give up, individual accomplishments in order for the greater good of the team. And we got a motto: when no one cares who gets the credit, we all succeed. And I think those guys have really bought into that, that mantra. And for that, we've seen quite the success throughout the first semester. And if you look at our statistics, you see across the board, there's not one number that really jump out. We do this thing by committee, and those guys, we talk about giving them good shots or great shots, and we talk about playing for your brother. So those guys have really took on the identity of my staff and I, and because of that, we've seen a number of successful things happen for the program. We open up with a very good Polk State team, one team that we beat down here, and we had them up about 15 in the first half. And like I told our guys, the game is about runs. They made a push down the stretch, and we was able to hold them off to get that key victory. So now it's time to go down there and return the favor and return the game. And I tell our guys all the time that it's tough playing on the road. It's tough to get wins, at this level and in this business. So you got to come prepared. And when you prepare the right way and you execute, good things happen for you.
Absolutely. And speaking of good things happening, I know this is something that happened towards the tail end of the first half of the season. One of your players got some recognition for being player of the month, I believe it was.
We got two guys who play of the week. I know that Jaden Wynn was able to capture that award twice. And we probably, and to be honest with you, Devontre Chaney should have probably won it one of the weeks. I had a blunder on my part. We have to get those nominations in about 1:00, and I got mine in at 1:30. And the commissioner of the conference had already sent it over to the committee. And there's no doubt he would have won it. He had 27 and 10 one night and 22 and 10 the next night. But I'll give you a great, just what I'm talking about from guys giving up individual success and their thought process. I told him that I didn't get those stats in that, quick enough. And he, looked at me and just said, Coach, I don't care about the individual awards. I care about making sure we win basketball games and we reach our goals at the end of the semester. And that's when you got a special team and a dynamic group of men that's in the program. So I couldn't be more pleased with their mindset and their attitude. And I think we got a chance, man. I really do. I really think we got a chance to make a run. We got individual goals that we want to accomplish, team goals that we want to accomplish. First, we want to win our regular season. Then we want to win our conference tournament. which will get us to the NJCA national tournament, and then make some noise in the tournament. And I think we got the makeup of the men in the room. I think I got an unbelievable coaching staff that really, put the time in and to really helping these guys, really cultivate these young men into successful men, and are selfless with their commitment to the program and to myself, and the loyalty is unbelievable. So we got the right pieces. We talk about people, process, and when you got good people and you got a great process, like I said, good things happen for you.
Yeah, and as a coach, it's always great to have talent, but you also, when you combine that with a talented group that works hard, and a talented group that works hard together, you're going to be successful. And that's the thing I've noticed about watching your team play, is very unselfish. And, if you're scouting your ball club, you really can't say we have to stop this one player, because if you do that, others are going to rise to the occasion and fill in. If they're, catering towards Jaden or to Trey, others are going to step in. Will, Justin, Shamar. I mean, those guys are going to step in the rest of the starting lineup. And then you go to the bench, and like we've talked about it, your team takes on a completely different dynamic when you go to the bench. And, in some cases, you've made some of your best runs with your bench unit in there. So that's a good example of a well-balanced team that plays well together and they play hard together. And I think that's going to, like you said, you're going to make some noise. And I happen to agree with you as we look into the 2024 portion of the season.
Yeah.
So we're excited about it, Coach. For anybody that wants to come watch the games, it's online at pbscpanthers.com. pbscpanthers.com. And you can come by, get the schedule, and come watch this ball club take the floor and do what they do. And I know you got a practice coming up, Coach, and best of luck as you hit the floor. Good luck a week from today, and I'll see you a week from this weekend at the Erling Gymnasium. So, Coach Tay Norwood, congratulations on a great first half of the season. Best of luck to you and the team as you try to keep that momentum going into 2024. Happy New Year.
I appreciate you. And I don't think – I know I've told you this before. Vince, you've done an unbelievable job with our play-by-play and with some other things that no one gives you credit for. So we are super appreciative to have you as a part of the program, a part of the Panther family, an extension of the athletic department. So thank you again, brother, for all the work that you do in helping publicize the athletic program. I wish you and your family a happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing you in about a week and a half from today.
This has been Palm Beach State College Coach's Corner with Vince Allo and men's basketball coach Tay Norwood. For a complete listing of all games for the Panthers, please visit pbscpanthers.com.